Morning everyone. Well, morning in the UK anyway. I did a video a couple of weeks ago on the plans by Oxfordshire Council and Canterbury Council that had been passed without any public consultation whatsoever to separate the city into 6 zones, which residents would not be allowed to travel outside of more than 15 minutes. So there's been an update. I said I'd be keeping an eye on it, and I'm just going to read the article that's going around this. I've got it from visionnews.online. I'm not sure if that's the original article because it's being published everywhere, but that's where I'm reading it from, and I'll add the link below. So here we go. Climate lockdowns. Residents will be confined to their local neighbourhood and have to ask permission to leave it all to save the planet. Oxfordshire County Council yesterday approved plans to lock residents into one of 6 zones to save the planet from global warming. It's 1 degree here today. The latest stage in the 15-minute city agenda is to place electronic gates on key roads in and out of the city, confining residents to their own neighbourhoods. Under the new scheme, if residents want to leave their zone, they will need permission from the council, who gets to decide who is worthy. Oh, the dog's trying to get out, so just ignore any noises. Who is worthy of freedom and who isn't. Under the new scheme, residents will be allowed to leave their zone a maximum of 100 days per year. But in order to even gain this, every resident will have to register their car details with the council, who will then track their movements via smart cameras round the city. Oxfordshire County Council, which is run by, oh, what a surprise, Labour, the Liberal Democrats and the Green Party, secretly decided to divide up the city of Oxford into 6 15-minute districts in 2021, soon after they were elected to office. And that's what I was talking about in the last video. None of the councillors declared their intention of imprisoning local residents in their manifestos, of course, preferring to make vague claims about how they will improve the environment instead. Every resident will be required to register their car with the county council, who will then monitor how many times they leave their district via number plate recognition cameras. And don't think you can beat the system if you're a 2-car household, and many have more than 2 cars now, because you've got, you know, people living with their parents well into, you know, sort of 30s and even beyond now, because it's bloody impossible to get your own place. Those 2 cars will be counted as one, meaning you will have to divide up the journeys between yourselves. 2 cars, 50 journeys each, 3 cars, 33 journeys each, and so on. So, sounding pretty dystopian, isn't it? And we were talking about climate lockdowns way back. You know, many of us recognise that the whole lockdown thing was paving the way for, you know, lockdowns for any reason. Certainly not just phony illnesses. And, you know, once again, the crackpot tin foil hat conspiracy theory is coming true, and this will certainly be rolled out across the country. This is 2024, by the way. They're aiming for this. So the zoning, the Hunger Games style zoning, has already begun, and this is proposed a trial for 2024, which is not very far away because we're practically in 2023 already. And we can see where this is going. I mean, here's another thing that I've read this morning. This is in France, because this kind of thing is happening all over. So the European Commission has approved France's plan to ban short-haul flights when there's a decent rail alternative. And who decides what's a decent alternative? But it will only affect 3 routes. So far, it's always that kind of soft entry, isn't it, in the beginning. French lawmakers in 2021 voted to prohibit short-haul domestic flights when there's an alternative rail connection of 2.5 hours or less. The original proposal, which required the green light from Brussels, again, unelected, these people, the MEPs, was slated to affect 8 routes. Now the Commission has said the ban can only take place if there are genuine rail alternatives available for the same route, meaning several direct connections each way every day. I mean, they make it sound reasonable. But what about when there's an emergency? You're going to have to go cap in hand to people to ask their permission, and that's what this is all about. It's getting permission to be able to just move freely. They want freedom of movement gone. That's what the Hunger Games Society, agenda is all about. Being restricted like cattle, surveilled 24/7, and this is the way things are going. And it's quite staggering the number of people who are still not seeing the bigger picture here, who aren't putting the pieces together, who aren't connecting those dots. So that's the update. As with any of this, it all fails when people refuse, because the infrastructure is not there to deal with thousands and thousands of people just travelling where they want to go. It doesn't work. So it's all about acquiescence. It's all about complying. That's what all of this depends on, and that's what needs to change. We're going to see more and more and more of this, and it's going to wake up more people. I think the more infringements there are on people's liberty, but you know, how far down the road does it have to get? Can you imagine having heard about this 5 years ago, even? Probably less, in fact, before this whole shit show started. Could you have imagined any of this? But this is where they're going, and this whole climate con is just another way, and I think it's actually the main route to get a lot of these, you know, the Agenda 30, Agenda 21, that all of those things into place. It does depend on this climate bullshit. The only kind of plus point at the moment, I think, is that not so many people are buying into it, as with the scamdemic. So we shall see. Have a good day, everyone, or evening, if you're in Oz, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Peace.